Assalamu alaikum students. Today I am here with another topic which is called Sir Syed Ahmed Khan. But before I start the video, do like and subscribe my channel and share the videos and press the bell icon so you can get the new notifications. So Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, let's see his introduction. He was born in 1817 in Delhi in a respectable family. He was skilled in Arabic, Persian, mathematics and medicine by the age of 18. He started his career in the legal system in 1838 and he became the judge in 1946. He wrote Atrul Sanadid in 1846. It was a well-known book on archaeology. In 1857, he was working as a chief judge in Banjul. He saved lives of some European families during the War of Independence, and the large amount was offered by the British in return of his loyalty, but he refused it. He became Chief Justice in Muradabad, Ghazipur, and in 1864 in Aligarh he retired in 1876. He was dedicated to the Aligarh movement, which was actually the Muslim Renaissance movement till his death in 1898. Now let's see about his beliefs. He was worried on the poor conditions of Muslims who were treated as second-class citizens, especially after the War of Independence. And there was a deterioration since the days of the Mughal decline, and it worsened with the time. Muslims were penalized by the British after the 1857 war, as most blame was put on Muslims. They were denied respectable jobs and other tough measures were taken against the Muslims as well. So Muslims also distanced themselves from the British, considering them no more than invaders. But Sir Syed believed that the Muslims should befriend with the British as they were the established rulers of India. They should acquire modern education in order to compete with Hindus and improve their socio-economic and political conditions by getting better jobs. And Muslims should not join politics. Hindus were organizing the political activities since 1870s onwards, but Muslims were not so educated to do that at that time. So now if we talk about his services, the first service he did was the improving relations between Muslims and British. But why he had to do that? He had to do that because to improve socio-economic conditions of Muslims, it was vital to make friends with the British. British put all the blame of the War of Independence on Muslims and considered other Indian communities loyal to them, like Hindus. So British had replaced Muslim rulers, so it was their thought was justifies to penalize Muslims only. Muslims generally resented British, took them as invaders trying to replace Islam with Christianity. Many rejected the Western cultural values, considering them un-Islamic. They remained hostile and away from the British. So Sir Syed Ahmed Khan discouraged Muslims from resorting to armed struggle against the British, acknowledging their superior strength. He advocated for the adoption of modern English education among Muslims, stressing the importance of embracing it and avoiding any resentment towards the Christianity. In his work Tabayyunul Kalam, Sir Syed highlighted the communities between Islam and Christianity, the common things between Islam and Christianity, and encouraged Muslims to engage with Christians. Even dining out with them, he thought that it is not an issue in Islam. So he established the British Indian Association to foster cooperation between British authorities and Indian people. Criticizing the absence of Indian representation in the Viceroy Legislative Council, Sir Syed pointed out that the laws were being enacted without consideration of Indian interest and aspirations. So it was important that Indians should be the part of the Legislative Council. He also emphasized Muslim loyalty to the British, because Sir Syed thought that to bridge up the gap between British and Muslims, it is vital that Muslims should show some kind of loyalty towards the British. Now, how he convinced the British? He convinced the British by writing books, articles and pamphlets like Loyal Muhammadans of India, and then he wrote essays on the causes of an Indian revolt, analyzed the mutiny, and he also told in that it was not only the Muslims who were the part of the rebellion, and there was a forceful conversion of the Indians, there was a poor management of army, and there was British failure to understand the Indian mindset. So senior British circles read all this, and they were somehow convinced with that. He also explained the meaning of Nadat to clarify its use. Muslim didn't use it to insult the British. It was derived from an Arabic word Nasir, which meant helper. So Muslim used the word in a positive way, not an insulting way. Actually, Nadat was used by Muslims to call the Britishers. So British thought that it was a negative word. So to enhance the cooperation between British and Indian people, he established the British Indian Association. He criticized the lack of Indian representation in the Legislative Council, as I explained earlier. Sir Syed also addressed mismanagement in the British Indian Army, which led the soldiers to rebelling against their officers. And he emphasized the Muslim loyalty to the British to sort the bridge the gap. Now, how he convinced the Muslim? He improved his image as a sincere Muslim by correcting errors in the book of Sir William Muir about the Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He highlighted similarities between Islam and Christianity to bridge the gap. He wrote Tabayyunul Kalam. It was a commentary on Bible. He also convinced that dining out together with Christians was not un-Islamic. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan discouraged Muslims from considering armed struggle against the British due to their formidable strength. And he also advocated for modern and English education, urging Muslims to embrace it and emphasize the importance of not harboring-hearted towards Christianity. Sir Syed highlighted similarities between Islam and Christianity was understood by many of the Muslims in Tabayyunul Kalam. Then, if we talk about the results or importance of his the services, efforts of Sir Syed would bear fruits later, and success of similar delegation and the separate electorates of Muslims was one of the biggest result or after effect of this bridging this gap. Now, if we talk about the educational services of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, first we have to see the reasons, then we'll see the details, and then we'll discuss the results. So first of all, we'll see that why the educational services were important. Muslims were not interested in modern British education at all. Hindus began to excel by acquiring modern education and got better jobs and improved their image before the British, who started them to counter Muslims. By 1871, there were 711 Hindus against only 92 Muslims in the government service. Growth of Hindus showed that, there was a growth of Hindus and they showed little respect towards the Muslims. Now, if we talk about the details, he told Muslims about the Quranic commands to acquire knowledge. He issued Tahzibul Akhlaq that published articles of Sir Syed and other influential Muslims to bring about a positive intellectual change in Muslims. He established a scientific society in Ghazipur, which the main work of that scientific society is to translate the modern scientific writings into Urdu. And he visited England in 1869 and observed Oxford and Cambridge, and he dreamed similar institute for Indian Muslims in India. So on return, he organized a fundraising campaign, and Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental school was established in Aligarh, It became MU College later on, and after his death, it was made as a university in 1920. The school, this Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental School and MU College, it acted as a nursery for many important future leaders. In 1886, Muhammadan Educational Conference was organized to improve educational standards of Muslims. The British administration viewed Hindus more favorably than Muslims and considered them to to potentially disloyal Muslims. So Hindus had greater access to education in schools, colleges and universities, and they were getting good education in those westernized schools and colleges. So the conference aimed, the Muhammadan Anglo Educational Conference aimed to promote modern education among Muslims and help them to secure better jobs and elevate their social status. And additionally, this promoting modern education among the Muslims facilitated closer relations between the Muslim community and the British administration. Now, if we talk about the results of the educational services, we can see that there was a gradual improvement of educational, social and economic status of Muslims. MU College became the breeding ground for Muslim leaders, and Muhammadan Educational Conference served as a platform for political activity for Muslims. All India Muslim League was found in the 20th session of Muhammadan Educational Conference. Then in 1871, there were 711 Hindus and only 92 Muslims were in government job. But after these educational reforms, there were many Muslims who got jobs in the British administration. Now, if we talk about the Aligarh movement, Sir Syed was concerned about Muslim situation post the War of Independence. So he urged Muslims to adopt positive approach towards the British and emphasized unity and progress. So Sir Syed aimed to improve relations between the British authorities and the Muslims. So he founded Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental School in Aligarh. Then his vision was to uplift the socio-economic status of Muslims. So he increased their political awareness. So Sir Syed efforts laid the groundwork for the educational advancement of the Muslims in India, and earning him the title of the prophet or leader of education. So Sir Syed Ahmed Khan encouraged both praise and criticism, and admired by some as a visionary, while some called him infidel. So he absorbed all this criticism very bravely. He was very passionate about the Muslims getting a Western education and pursue their careers in civil services and in army and in different British administrative jobs. So Sir Syed expressed worry over the political indifference among the Muslims, and they wanted them to be dedicated towards the educational side. And Muslims he wanted to empower the Muslims actually. So Aligarh movement was not only related to the education, it was a full movement in which he wanted to uplift the Muslim status as compared to different communities of the subcontinent. Now, if we talk about the political services of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Indian National Congress politics was one of the major issue. That in 1885 Indian National Congress was formed, and it was aimed to convey views of Indians to the British. But INC claimed initially to represent all Indians regardless of their religion, but in reality it was a Hindu dominating party, and it was working for the Hindu Raj in India. So Sir Syed advised Muslims to keep away from the politics of INC, and it could engage Muslims in agitational politics and damage their relations with the British. So he recognized that in modern democratic system, the Hindu majority would likely dominate over the Muslim minority. So he advocated for separate seats and electorates for Muslims to ensure their representation in the government. So Sir Syed also suggested to the British government that measures should be taken to guarantee Muslim representation in all the assemblies, and the Congress proposed government service appointments through competitive exams and disadvantaging Muslims who lagged behind Hindus in education. So he founded the Indian Patriotic Association, which attracted members from all communities in India to address these issues and advocate for Muslim rights. Sir Syed also joined the Imperial Council for a 2-year term, and he also served as a Punjab Service in the Punjab Service Commission. Additionally, he was appointed as a member of Viceroy Legislative Council as well. INC demanded the joint elections for the common elections. They wanted competitive exams for the civil services in India, and Hindus also demanded Hindi to be the national language. So these all demands were against the Muslim wishes. So to counter INC politics, he founded the United Patriotic Alliance in 1893, and later it became the Muhammadan Defense Alliance, which I just explained it to you. That the counter the INC politics, he founded the United Patriotic Alliance. Now let's see the importance or results of the political services. He was the founder of the two-nation theory, and he predicted the separation of Hindus and Muslims in future, especially after the 1867 Hindi-Urdu controversy and after the other demands of INC. The two-nation theory would gradually become valid and lay basis for the struggle of the separate Muslim homeland and the Pakistan movement. So about his religious services, Sir Syed Ahmed Khan's religious perspective shaped his agenda and left a profound impact on the Muslim societies. He wrote a commentary on the Holy Quran, focusing on verses which were pertinent to contemporary issues. Sir Syed believed in enhancing relations with the British through better understanding of Christianity among Muslims. So he wrote Tabinul Quran to highlight similarities between Islam and Christianity. He also advocated for tolerance towards Christianity, viewing it as a divine religion and promoting interaction with Christians. Then he was concerned about the misrepresentations of Islam. He responded to William Moore's book Life of Muhammad with his own work, Khutbat-i Ahmadiyya, correcting misconceptions. Sir Syed emphasized Islam's compatibility with modern science and English education, supporting his arguments with various books and a 7-volume explanation of the Holy Quran. So it was a greater religious work. Then about two-nation theory is it suggests that for the Muslims in the Indian subcontinent, religious outweighs language or ethnicity in defining identity. It asserts that Indian Hindus and Muslims are distinct nations despite any shared characteristics. This theory was fundamental to the Pakistan movement and the eventual partition of India in 1947. Sir Syed engaged in discussions about this theory with Mr. Shakespeare, the divisional commissioner, as well. So, but it was his view, and he was considered as the father of the two-nation theory. Now, there are some more important topics related to this chapter, which are Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental School, Essay on the Causes of the Indian Revolt, Aligarh Institute Gazette, Loyal Muhammadans of India, Hindi-Urdu controversy, and why was Sir Syed accused of being a Christian, a traitor, and a sympathetic to British. So we'll cover it in the next class. Thank you so much.